The sound of the door slamming echoed through the deserted hallway, signaling the close of a chapter in my life. I had no idea that the storm that would shortly envelop me would be more than just emotional. It would also take the shape of unexpected guests, as I stood in the quiet wake of my failed marriage. I summoned up the resolve to quit a relationship that had long since run its course on a dark Tuesday evening. I felt a strange mixture of relief and sorrow as the door clicked behind my now ex-husband. The weight of that decision lingered thick in the air. I had no idea how much turmoil was in store for me. The following day, as the sun hesitantly attempted to peek through the clouds, heralding the dawn of a new day, an unforeseen intruder disturbed my serene seclusion. The doorbell rang nonstop, reverberating through my freshly empty house. I answered the door to find my ex-husband, his sister, and his mother standing on my porch with an uncomfortable intensity that was difficult to ignore. Their eyes pierced mine with a look that was equal parts confusion, rage, and maybe even desperation. An uncomfortable atmosphere persisted in the air as a result of the emotional tableau that clashed and crashed. My ex-husband's sister, a woman I had previously thought of as a friend, spoke in a tone that indicated a sense of urgency amidst the heavy silence that surrounded us. She said, "We need to talk," her words hanging in the atmosphere like an ominous mist. The anxiety built as they entered my now solitary haven. The living room, which was once a haven of affection and laughter, was the scene of a clash driven by feelings that were too intense to control. Their surprise request came as a plea that pierced the dense emotional mist. They sought clarifications, answers, and maybe an opportunity to save the broken pieces of our common past. Unspoken complaints, unresolved conflicts, and the uncomfortable truth that hovered in the space between us permeated the air. The minutes passed, with every second being weighed down by the weight of feelings and the uncertainty of what was to come. I was experiencing a plethora of contradictory feelings and a feeling of apprehension about the path ahead due to the unrelenting storm that had engulfed my life. A flurry of emotions engulfed me as the living room turned into a battlefield for silent complaints. Their words reverberated across the room, a mixture of pleadings, accusations, and the pain of a broken family. My ex-husband, who had previously been close to me, stood there looking a little guilty and a little defiant. The narrative of our common history emerged among the emotional upheaval. The frankness and vulnerability revealed old, festering wounds. His mother described the memories of a period when we were a cohesive family together by love and dedication, her eyes welling with tears. His sister talked about how painful it was to watch what had previously seemed to be an unbreakable tie fall apart. She was caught between loyalty and the harsh reality. The minutes stretched into hours as we made our way through the intricate maze of our entwined lives. The rain beating against the windows seemed to be nature's reflection of the tears being shed in that room, and the tempest of emotions outside reflected the agony within. Amidst the turmoil, it became clear that the disintegration of the family was more important than the breakdown of the marriage. The essence of our common past was revealed as the layers of hurt, disappointment, and resentment were peeled away. It was a tapestry woven with happy and sad events, as well as the unavoidable imperfections of human nature. It became clear that this sudden invasion was an attempt to write a different ending to a story that none of us was ready to let go of, not only to find closure. I was conflicted in the rising and falling tide of feelings, wanting to be strong in my resolve to end this chapter of my life, while also feeling compassion for their suffering. Emotions reached a fever pitch as the night went on, and the tempest inside appeared to reflect the storm outside. It became evident that even though our histories were similar, we were all struggling with the inevitable shift. The revelation came over us like a thick fog, and we silently realized that some chapters, no matter how painful, had to close in order for new ones to open. After a while, the storm subsided as midnight approached. After the emotional roller coaster, we were worn out and at a loss for what to do. It was time to part ways after the words were exchanged, the emotions cried, and the shared history revealed. The door that had banged shut the day before creaked open, marking the start of a journey towards healing and self-discovery, as well as the end of a turbulent day. The sounds of the storm, both inside and outside, continued as I shut the door behind them. The home, which had once been a hub for hopes shared, now served as a testament to the complexity of love and the human spirit's tenacity. I inhaled deeply, my heart heavy, prepared to confront whatever lay beyond the threshold, a future in which the storms of the past might give way to the serenity of a fresh start. The agony and healing that had taken place inside those walls were brought to memory by the echoes of that turbulent night, which persisted in the days that followed like a faint symphony. Now empty of the relics of a shared existence, the house felt strange but also freeing. I took comfort in the silent times of introspection as I made my way through the isolation that followed the storm. The emotional rubble from that unplanned family meeting started to settle, exposing the edges of a new reality. Friends' turn became my rock, offering consolation and empathy while I struggled to reconstruct a life that had been so closely entwined with another for such a long time. Their comments were like a salve applied to fresh cuts, giving hope that time may heal even the most severe scars. There were obstacles to overcome on the path to self-discovery. Emotionally, the terrain changed from grief to resiliency, and my identity came back piece by piece, like a delicate bud opening slowly. The knowledge gained from the ruins of a broken marriage served as a springboard for me to become a better, more resilient person. Unexpected epiphanies occurred during the healing process. I had to face hard facts and accept that relationships are temporary as a result of the storm. It became clear that by letting go of the past, I was opening the door to the prospect of a future marked by development, self-love, and newly discovered strength. As I made my way through the uncharted waters of life after divorce, the encouragement of loved ones and the tenacity of the human spirit served as guiding lights. My daily routine served as a reassuring anchor, keeping me centered in the here and now and diverting my attention from the upsetting recollections of the past. The terrain of my emotions shifted with the seasons. The once overpowering emotional storm eventually gave way to a feeling of peace. A better, more hopeful tomorrow was built on the lessons that were learned on that dreadful night. I came to appreciate the beauty of self-discovery during the peaceful times of solitude. Empowerment stemmed from having the flexibility to make decisions based on one's own development rather than making concessions. The storm's scars turned into emblems of fortitude, demonstrating the power that may arise from hardship. Months went by, with little victories and moments of self-improvement every day. Subtle noises of rebuilding filled the house that had once been a battleground of emotions. Even if the wounds weren't totally healed, they were turning into scars, which was evidence of the resiliency that was present. In the midst of my isolation, I took comfort in rekindling old hobbies and passions. My life was a canvas waiting to be painted by one person. Shared dreams had formerly controlled it. The storm had passed, and the sun of self-discovery had come out. I met a group of like-minded people by chance while the landscape outside was painted in crimson hues by autumn. Ties created in the furnace of common experiences served as the cornerstone for a recently discovered sense of identity. I found the strength in accepting life's uncertainties in the warmth of company and the laughter of friends. The ghost of that terrible night slowly vanished from memory's shadows. The unannounced visit, the emotional encounter, and the healing that followed became chapters in a novel that I was writing with grace and resiliency. The storm had passed, replaced by a light breeze that promised rebirth. The significance of forgiveness emerged as a light bulb in the field of self-discovery. It became a transformational act to forgive not only other people, but also oneself, and more importantly, it was an admission that getting better was a continuous process and that every step forward represented a triumph against the past ghosts. I was finding myself appreciating the silence as winter covered the earth in a layer of reflective silence. Tales of perseverance and the beauty found in life's stark simplicity were whispered by the chilly winds. During the quiet times, I became aware that the sudden storm had shaped not just my heart's terrain, but also my resilience's features. The environment around me bloomed in brilliant hues with the approach of spring, reflecting my own hope blossoming. Caressed in the quiet times of introspection, the tendrils of self-love unfolded like fragile blooms. The promise of what may be achieved came to define life instead of what had been lost. I was on the verge of a fresh start as the anniversary of that life-changing evening drew near. Once painful reminders, the scars had transformed into badges of honor, demonstrating the strength inherent in vulnerability. The home, which had previously been plagued by the ghost of a failed marriage, was now a haven for introspection and rejuvenation. Not merely a fresh chapter, but a completely new tale had been shaped by the unexpected storm. I saw progress, resiliency, and a love that starts with oneself in the unwritten pages of the future. Even though the storm had passed, its lessons continued to reverberate, pointing the way for a better day. As the seasons changed, a coincidental chance presented itself, luring me outside the comfort zone. An opportunity to take a job in a new city materialized like an open door, beckoning me to venture into the unknown. Making the decision to go on this journey was scary, but it also offered the possibility of more personal development and the ability to build a future free from the burdens of the past. It was a freeing and difficult experience to uproot my life and start over. Though they were now faint murmurs overshadowed by the din of new possibilities, the tempest that had molded my history was still there. As I packed up the pieces of a life that had been left behind, I was struck by how strong the human spirit can be and how it can use hardship as a springboard for improvement. The streets of the new city, full of strange people and a distinct rhythm, welcomed me with open arms. My life's events took unanticipated turns and introduced me to a group of people whose tales somehow entwined with mine. Every interaction served as a brushstroke on the canvas of my developing story. I learned the value of reinvention in the middle of this chaos. The person I had become was shaped by the decisions I made in the present, not by the struggles I had faced in the past. The storm had altered my inner landscape as much as my exterior circumstances, giving me fresh tenacity and a steadfast faith in the potential of second chances. The encouragement of new friends who became partners on my voyage of self-discovery gave me comfort as I navigated the intricacies of this new chapter. Together, we built relationships through shared achievements, losses, and laughter that kept me grounded in the here and now while pointing me in the direction of an uncertain but exciting future. During the silent times of contemplation, I understood that the sudden storm had acted as a turning point, pushing me in the direction of a life that was truly mine. Rather than being eliminated, the wounds from the past have become a patchwork of events that have all woven into the intricate fabric of who I am. The process of healing persisted, evolving continuously rather than reaching a specific point. The strength that had surfaced from the storm gave me a renewed sense of purpose and directed me into pursuits that complemented the person I was becoming into. Life felt like a calm current guiding me toward undiscovered shores after once being a turbulent sea. The echoes of that terrible night had faded into the distance, becoming whispers of thanks. The unanticipated tempest, amongst its disorder and disturbance, served as the impetus for a transformation that extended beyond the boundaries of my history. I brought with me the knowledge I had acquired, the fortitude I had developed, and the steadfast conviction that even in the face of unanticipated storms, I had the ability to withstand them and come out stronger and rejuvenated on the other side. These things helped me accept the uncertainties of this new beginning. The threads of perseverance, self-awareness, and pursuing happiness were all perfectly woven together in my new existence. Once a stranger, the city became my blank canvas on which I painted the chapters of a story that only I could tell. Every stride forward was resounding with the prospect of expansion, demonstrating the transformational force that comes with welcoming change. The echoes of the past faded into background whispers as time passed like a steady river. My heart's scars were no longer marks of injury, but rather of victory over hardship. Even if the road was difficult, it had produced a stronger, more understanding, and more tuned-in version of myself that understood the harmonics of a life well lived. With its emotional upheaval and upsetting force, the unanticipated storm had turned into a watershed, a critical event that drove me in the direction of a better future. The house that had been there for the turbulent events of that night stood quiet witness to my fortitude and a reminder that something lovely and new may rise from the ashes of the old. I discovered the strength to let go of the past when I embraced the present. Even though they had originally been terrible, the recollections now served as teachings ingrained in my being. I didn't carry them as weights. Instead, they served as stepping stones that helped me move toward a future with meaning and purpose. The end of one chapter signaled the beginning of another as I stood on the edge of this developing story. With all of its uncertainties, life unrolled like a tapestry draped by a soft wind of opportunity. The storm gave me the resilience that served as the foundation for my newfound independence, enabling me to ride the winds of change fearlessly. I accepted the fact that the path of self-discovery was never fully finished in this patchwork of events. Every day offered a chance to grow, learn, and appreciate the wonders of development. Although the hurricane served as a trigger, my journey was mostly defined by the continuous process of navigating its consequences. As the tale developed, I discovered that I was thankful for the unanticipated storm that had changed the course of my life. It had served as a mentor, an inspiration, and finally a roadmap for an exciting new future. Even though the last paint strokes on the canvas and the chapters were yet unwritten, I approached them with a renewed sense of agency and the knowledge that, no matter what storms came, I had the fortitude to weather them and come out stronger than before, reborn and resilient.